All right, and welcome back. JT here, and I'm back in my record room. And for RSD, what it really means to me, first of all, Saturdays I always work. And so my style is I get off work, I'll go down to my favorite indie record store, which is Recycled Records in Midtown Reno, and I'll drop in and see what happens. And that's pretty much what I did. So I drove from work, which the record store isn't very far. It's I'd say about 2 miles from downtown to Midtown Reno. And I walk in there, and I could tell they had a really, really good day, a good RSD. And I walked in there, I could just feel the love. I mean, everybody was there. I felt like I was just in a time warp because I had been going there since 1978. And the original owner, Paul, was there. And, for years, I traded records with him, bought, sold CDs, vinyl. These guys turned me on to great titles. I bought my first Stiff Little Fingers record there, Nobody's Heroes, way back when. So many great records, The Cure, Gene Clark records, on and on. And Eric, the present owner, walked up to me. Now you have Mike, Kyle, and Eric as the owners. Paul turned the throne over to the boys because Paul retired. But even Paul walked up to me, and years passed, decades passed, Paul was always too busy. But here Paul is talking to me, chatting me up, and it was very, very cool. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show a group 15-second video of the gang. And for me, RSD Record Store Day is really more about the celebration and the survival of my hometown record store, which is Recycled Records. Since 1978. What this particular store went through, with the recession in '08, and then vinyl was way down, and a lot of stores closed. Recycled Records always stayed open. And Steve Harold, on his channel, he asked me a question last week. He says, JT, are any of your original record stores still open from when you were a kid? And for me, we're talking 40 to 50 years ago. And all those stores when I was an early teenager, with all my, when I amassed a collection of 50 records from age 14 to 15, those stores are all gone. And because in that period, I was living in Las Vegas. But Recycled Records, when I moved back home to Reno, where I'm from, where I'm born, Lake Tahoe and Reno, I started shopping there since I was 21. That's 44 years. And so, really, these guys survived. And so a celebration of their success, it's really cool to be appreciated. I walk in there and they just, hey, JT, it's just fantastic. That's all I can say. So let me show you what I did get for RSD, because the way I do it is a little funny. Now, this record, I did order this one online from Mike from the In Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. And, this is the Wild Times. It's Reflections. Mind-bending psych from 1966 through 1967, recorded down in Phoenix, Arizona. And these guys ended up going into Goose Creek Symphony, which formed in 1968. But if you're into, this is going to be a great record if you're into the Electric Prunes, Psych, Psych Birds, Psych era of Beatles, 1966 to 67 era Beatles. So I'm really excited. I'll be getting this in the mail any day now. So while I was walking around in the store, I looked at all of the RSD releases that were still left. There was a Ramones box set, for about $150. I wasn't really that interested. So I was thumbing through records and chatting up and talking to the owners of the store. They were having a great time. At this point, they were partying. It was from about 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. But I did find this Ultra box. This is the Mid-Jour era. This is from 1986, a 12-inch single. And this was written for Live Aid, for the great Live Aid concert that Queen, just killed it during that performance. And this is arranged and conducted by George Martin for that song. So this is a nice one to have. And this is a UK import, and you can see what I paid for it. And this was the original owner, Paul's copy. And what's pretty cool, he used to, let me show you, he he would do these little drawings on the inside of the jackets. You know, like I used to do a JT with a circle and an arrow when in the 70s and the 80s. I stopped doing that, thankfully, because I don't want anything on my jackets anymore. But so this Ultravox was very, very cool. And here it's on chrysalis. This is an import. And, you know, when I'm thumbing through records, I really like clean jackets, really clean sleeves. So I found the Babies Anthology. And this was so cool. You know, the Babies were formed in London, England around 1975. And the original dudes were John Waite and Michael Corby. So, you know, of course they had Jonathan Cain later on when they had great success. But I really like the Babies, and I like having this comp a lot. So here's the songs. And here's that great hype. Yeah, so I finally have an ultra clean, near minty Babies album. And here's a record I've been thinking of this whole week. And that's, you know, I know it's unorthodox, but for RSD, I was missing this particular James Gang record, James Gang live in concert, and I grew up with this record. I used to play this front to back to front, love it. This was recorded at Carnegie Hall, New York City in the fall of 1971, and I bought it around 1972 when I was a 15-year-old kid. I love this one, and this is Joe Walsh's last hurrah with the James Gang. He moved on after, you know, of course, but the James Gang still had good records. And when they did Bang with Tommy Bolin, that's a killer record. Really recommend Bang. James Gang with Tommy, the great late Tommy Bolin. And here's the back cover for that. And here's a record that I can really consider an RSD purchase. Not really, but I've wanted this record. And this is the reissue of Midlake. And this is the Trials of Van Occupanter. And these guys are from Denton, Texas, North Texas. And if you don't know Midlake, they are very, very reminiscent of, let's say, the wilderness years of Fleetwood Mac with Danny Kerwin, Bob Welsh, you know, Future Games, Bear Trees era music for Fleetwood Mac. But I mean, they're psych, they're alternative rock, they're folk. Really wonderful. This is on the Bella Union label. I have this on CD. Love it on CD, but I'm really glad to have this on vinyl. And here's the tracks here. And if you don't know this album, I really recommend you to sample this one, to stream it for Midlake. And here's that hype. And then the next day after RSD, I went down. I just got back from Sacramento, California, and we were down on the river, Sacramento River, and I got to go to a record store as well, Rocket Records. But I went to visit my cousin Tom and his wife Hope, and their daughter Lauren, and Sean got to play and hang out, and we had a great day, had a great dinner in his backyard, and he gave me 2 records. And I'm really thrilled. The 2 records that he gave me, that was really nice. We went to his storeroom, and he knows I'm crazy about records. So he pulled out a box of records from his storage unit. We drove over there, and then he brought them home. And I wasn't going to say nothing, but at the end of our visit, he says, "Hey, do you want to see the records?" And I said, "Sure." And you know, I really didn't want to take any. But it was so exciting. He had some Vandals in there. He had some Dickies. He had some Howard Jones. He had a lot of cool records. But he gave me a Sammy Hagar. And you know, there's only one way to rock is on here, and this is cool. And I definitely need me some more Sammy Hagar records. But I'm real glad to have this one. And here's the back cover. And this is simply on Geffen, and this is from 1981, this Hagar. And then lastly, guys, he went ahead and gave me a very, very clean Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. You know, this is her second studio LP. It's on the Boardwalk label, and 1981. So great. I mean, I love rock and roll. I don't know about you, but I do. Man, so I'm going to get me some more Joan Jett on vinyl, and here's that great Boardwalk label. And yeah, it was a really good, it was, you know, from the heart, it was a great record store day because of my visit to my local indie. And, you know, it's really more about, again, the celebration, survival, and just success of let's say, your local record store. And I know a lot of you guys and gals reflect on that, but I'm definitely doing that because I have such history with them. And I mean, it's more about what, less about what I can get, you know, from them, and more about, you know, just their continued longevity. And, you know, long live Recycled Records in Midtown Reno. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video, and thanks for watching. All right, guys. Yes, you like each other. Recycled Records, Reno, Nevada, Midtown, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Totally awesome. There's Paul, there's Eric, there's everybody, Kyle. The gang's all here.
Thank God.